Hello guys, I hope you are all doing well in this corona pandemic time, and I hope you are all safe and you have something to do so you are not bored. Me, I'm studying at the moment, so soon or next week I will at least have Easter vacation. But I changed the brake lights in my car. I'm gonna talk a little bit how, we'll see some more clips and also some clips of when I did it actually. So let's roll tape. So I bought some new brake lines for my car. They're flexible ones which go from the hard lines to the calipers. There was no need to change them in this car here, but why not? I bought them locally for a fairly good price and I've never done the job before, so I wanted to learn and have something to do on the car. I think you would replace these flexible hoses either if you're maybe having a stuck caliper and it's not the caliper's fault, then maybe you have an obstruction somewhere in the line, or maybe if you have some dry, cracked old lines, which was not the case here. But yeah, I just changed them because I wanted. I was able to change 3 of the 4 sides. I will tell you why. But with tools for this job, I would absolutely recommend, of course, getting the new brake lines. That is a must. Line wrenches, they have like 4 contact patches on the nuts instead of 2. So it's harder to strip the bolts, which is a good thing, of course. Also just having some spanners for the other bolts, single mass flywheel there, spanners, brake bleeder tool, that is also a must. And tool wise, I think that is it. Maybe penetrating fluid as well, that will help you a lot, I think. So I don't really like to do anything with my brakes because they are a vital part of your car and you don't want to mess this up. And also I really don't like to bleed the brakes, but it's a fairly simple thing to do if you have done it before, or just do it right, especially if you don't have any rusted bolt and such. It's fairly straightforward. And new crusher washers in copper for all of the sides, so that will be 8 new ones in total. I will also recommend, because if you reuse the old ones, you can get leaks. Then you either have to like sand it down, or yeah, you otherwise would just need to buy new ones, otherwise it will just seep out brake fluid. I was not able to get one of the lines off. I will probably assess that later, but I tried to loosen one of the top bolts where the flexible line goes into a hard line, and I didn't use penetrating fluid, and the bolt was not stuck, but the line was like stuck into the nut, so the line twisted slightly with the nut and wouldn't come loose. So I think I have to cut that open, and I will probably have to do that in a later video. So if you are not able to get the nut loose and see that the line is twisting with the nut, I would just stop there if you're not comfortable with like cutting off the hard brake line and patching. And also make sure that your brake bleeders on your calipers are not super old and rusty, otherwise you will not be able to bleed your brakes. But otherwise I think this job was fairly easy, just that one side that will have to be addressed in the future. Yeah, I didn't make a lot of clips video of this because it got dark when I was doing it, so yeah, have a look at what I filmed at least, and I will try to explain a little bit maybe. So since you're gonna bleed the brake later, you are pushing a lot of brake fluid through the reservoir and down the lines. So I was thinking that it was a good thing to put some fresh brake fluid into the reservoir, and I took it out with all one of that squeezer pump thing. So I have fresh fluid going in. And then I just put the brake almost all the way in to stop the brake fluid seeping out when I'm taking off the lines. At least it worked on the front calipers here. Taking off this clip here for the holder, which holds the brake line into the strut assembly. We only have this in the front. Very easy to take off, and the brake line only like stays in there one way. So just try to see how you dismantle this piece here. You have this bolt here in the caliper, it should be on fairly hard, and then you also have this bolt here on the top, which I would recommend using line wrenches on. And of course you need to go the right way, and I would use some penetrating fluid here so it wasn't stuck there, and maybe the line also won't stuck into the bolt as I talked about earlier. And we can see that there's no like seepage here. Then you just tighten everything up the other way. You have some grooves in the brake lines, so they can only stay in one way. And it's fairly easy to tighten it up. Then we have this bolt here on the caliper. It's all fairly hard, and it should also be fairly hard tightened. But like compared to the bleeder, you would press this harder so the crush washer gets crushed. This here was the old caliper, so one of the crushed bolts are now stuck to the calipers, but otherwise you will have one crusher washer on each side of the new brake line there, which I didn't show in the video. I didn't get to film the breathing part because I was having a problem with my crush nuts, that I had some leakage, so I ended up fixing it very light, and it's dark outside. It's fairly simple. You just loosen the breather nut on the caliper, and you have like the line set onto the caliper. You open the reservoir for the brake fluid, and you just sit in the car, I push the brake 5 times, and I'm alone, like all the way in. And then I walk outside and see that I don't have any more bubbles in the brake, or that rubber hose that you hooked up to the breather valve, and then you just tighten it back and you're done for that side. And you should do all of the sides now, and I do it front to back. And then afterwards, when the car is off, you want to see that you can press the pedal in a few times and the pedal gets very hard. It shouldn't seep out anything there, and it's also probably a good thing to go and have some look at the bolts and such yourself, so you don't see any fluid leaking out and such. And the first car or the drive you take a short drive, feel the pedal that it doesn't get mushy and sinks to the bottom, because then you probably have a leak, and inspect it again before you take another ride. But as you see in this video here, everything worked out fine in my case, but I still had this one brake line that I had to address because the bolt was stuck with the line.